Here we go. Hi, everybody. Happy Wednesday morning. I am not Mark, obviously. Usually, Mark is the guy to teach this class, this Wednesday morning class. I see lots of people in the chat. I am Shaun. For anybody who doesn't know me, I am Shaun. Some people I know from my other class. I see some familiar names, some names that, Kaio's there, and some other people as well. Lots of people. I see Jorge and Daniel, Fatih, Thushara. You guys miss Mark already. Yes. Yeah, I know. I look different today, I think, right? No hat, no beard. I shaved my beard and took my hat off, and this is what I look like. So yeah, Mark is on holiday for this week. So I am going to teach your class. Okay? So it's Wednesday morning here in Vancouver at the studio at the Canadian College of English Language. And I'm excited. I get to teach 2 classes today. Lots of people. Ahmed, Mustafa, Z3 Frank 8. Oh, Jassim. Good. Nice to see you. So before we start, I should point out that Mark's class and my class, some students watch both my class and Mark's. They're at different times, so some people go to sleep before my class. But usually, Mark's class is more of a intermediate level, and my class is a little bit higher of a level. Okay? So I am going to try to talk a little bit more slowly in this lesson for people that are a little bit lower level. To make it easier for you to understand, because I know that I think I speak faster than Mark does. All right, so I don't want you to miss Mark too much. I want you to have fun with me for the next hour. Diego is scared to death. Yeah, don't be scared. I'm friendly, and I will take care of you. Don't worry. Okay. We have lots of friendly people around. Zach is in the chat. He is our moderator, as usual, and he will answer your questions. No, okay, so that is, how do you say that name? Dalia. Is that Dalia? Hi, Dalia. I can read a little bit of Russian, so I think I got that name right. If I did. And Julian just sneezed behind me. I don't know if you heard that. Okay, Mark speaks fast. Really? Uh-oh. Okay, so let's get started. Zach, as I said, is in the chat, and he will help you if you have questions while I'm teaching the lesson. Put your questions in the chat. Bless you, Julian, for that. And we will try to answer your questions as much as we can, as best as we can. Okay, so let's get started. Let me go into the lesson here. Okay, so today I'm going to start with a question. Okay, let's start by talking about chicken. What better way to start a class than to talk about chicken? So I have a very silly question to start with, okay? I think it's a silly question anyway. Maybe it's not. The question is, have you ever eaten chicken? Right. Well, of course you have eaten chicken. Well, maybe not of course if you are a vegetarian, right? Maybe you've been a vegetarian for your entire life and you have never eaten chicken. Maybe you are a baby, or maybe you are a chicken, and I don't know. But most of you, I think almost all of you, probably all of you, have eaten chicken. Maybe even chicken. You've eaten chicken today. Okay, so let's add more information to this question. All right, so how about this? Have you ever eaten chicken in a salad like this one? Again, you probably have. It's very common to cook some chicken and put it on a delicious fresh salad. Mustafa doesn't want to hurt the chicken. Yeah, me neither, but they're so tasty. I don't want to hurt them, but I can't help myself. They're delicious. All right, so how about let's get more specific. Have you ever eaten chicken in a salad in a restaurant? Okay, maybe some of you have never done that. Maybe you like chicken in a salad at home, but if you go to a restaurant, you're not going to order something like this. I think Belle's hungry. Yeah, like the grilled chicken. All right, now let's keep going. Let's add more information to this. Let's get this group of people that can answer yes to this question. Let's get less people in this group, okay? So, and again, Daniel says, of course. Of course he has eaten chicken in a salad at a restaurant. So, let me add more information, okay? Have you ever eaten chicken in a salad at a restaurant by the beach? All right? Or how about let's get even more specific. Have you ever eaten chicken in a salad at a restaurant by the beach in Mexico on a date with a movie star from India? Right? If you can say yes to that question, then you have a very interesting life. Fadi says, that's too long. Well, we can take it down. Have you ever eaten chicken in a salad at a restaurant by the beach in Mexico? Right? But yes, as I said, if you can say yes to this question, your life is much more interesting than mine, because I have never eaten chicken salad on a beach in Mexico with a movie star from any country, right? Okay. Yeah, very. Yes, I know. I talk about food a lot, don't I? This is all the food talk that I'm going to do today. All right. Yeah, never ever eaten this chicken salad with a movie star. Okay. So that's my question. Your question might be, why is Shaun asking me this question, right? Well, because today we're talking about detail. We're talking about putting information into your sentences to make them more specific, right? Specific, meaning to be more focused and less general and broad, okay? So, being more specific is about taking this first question, which almost everybody can say yes to, right? Have you ever eaten chicken? Most of you said, of course. Of course I have. But this question, I don't think anybody here can say that they've done that. Well, again, if you can, good for you, right? So this is all of this stuff that I added to this sentence. This is all detail, okay? And this is what we're going to be talking about. Now, Ahmed says this question is full of prepositions, and that is absolutely true. This is full of prepositions, and it's full of prepositions because today we are talking about prepositional phrases, all right? What we're talking about today, I guess we're kind of focusing on written English rather than, it can maybe help with your spoken English as well, but we're going to focus on writing sentences with prepositional phrases. Some more people are saying hi to me. Date with cows. Crazy stuff. Okay, so prepositional phrases. The first question, I guess, is what is a prepositional phrase? This is Rosalinda, hi. PK Montreal, hi. Lots of people saying hi. Samir, hi. Rosa's saying, oh, Rosa's not feeling well. Okay, I don't think I'm going to talk about food anymore after this. Okay? And Big Sleep, we just changed the schedule for this week. Don't worry about it. Mark will be back soon. Okay? So, a prepositional phrase, what is it? Well, let's break it down. Okay? Let's talk about it in pieces. So, oh, actually, I'm going too fast here. These are the 3 questions that I want to look at today, okay? What is a prepositional phrase? We're going to explain what it is. We're going to talk about why they are important, right? Why do you need to understand these things, okay? And how can they help you? Okay, how can they help your reading skills and your writing skills? Okay, this is what we're focusing on today. So let's jump into it. Santhos is saying hi. Lots of people today. This is great. So let's start with the most basic question. Okay, and again, for some of you, this might be on the easy side. And if it's too easy, you can always come back this afternoon for me at 3 o'clock for a more advanced lesson. Okay? All right. A preposition is a word that comes before a noun, and it helps to explain things. It helps us to show things like when, where, why, who, how, all of this information. We use prepositions to explain things, okay? Yeah, Mark's on holiday. All of these words are prepositions, all right? All of these words are prepositions. So a lot of these words, most of them, you are probably familiar with. Words like at and in and up and under, over. These are all prepositions. Now, you might have a couple like beneath, might be new to you. Beneath just means really like under, okay? Beyond. Over here, what do we have here? Within is kind of behind me. This one might be one that students aren't totally familiar with. Don't worry if you're not completely familiar with all of these words. But these are prepositions, okay? So again, words that come before a noun to help explain things like time and location and that kind of stuff. And we'll talk about that in a minute, okay? So, if that's a preposition, then what is a prepositional phrase? Well, in order to understand that, and I think it was maybe Donnie already answered this question, so ahead of the game, which is good. A prepositional phrase is a group of words, or actually rather a phrase is a group of words functioning together, words together, okay? But there's no subject or main verb. So it's not a sentence. It's not a clause. It's a group of words that is working together, but it's incomplete. It's not complete. There's no verb in there, okay? So even these 2 words here, of words or group of words, you could call that a phrase, okay? So if that's a phrase, a prepositional phrase is a combination of a preposition, like in, up, at, or beneath, with a noun, okay? So it's a preposition plus a noun together, working as a team, working together, all right? It's teamwork. Some questions coming in. Amit is wondering the difference between beneath and under. Okay, yeah, I'll get to that. I'll come back to that one. That's a good question, Amit. I'll come back to beneath, okay? Good question. All right. No, it's not. It's on subject. Don't worry, Amit. Yeah, it's good. I'll come back to it. So prepositions plus a noun. Let's look at some examples. Examples of prepositional phrases are, for example, under the tree, with his family, down the narrow street, for 2 years, like my country, in their favorite class. All of these are prepositional phrases because, as you can see in the first example, you have a preposition at the beginning. Okay, it starts with a preposition like under, and then it goes to tree, which is a noun. Okay, good. Lots of new people in the group. This is great. First time for Prem, awesome. And I think I saw a first time for Big Sleep there too. And Luana, hi. Leandro, Neerit. All right, cool. Welcome, everybody. This is great. So, as I'm saying, under is a preposition, tree is a noun, so that is a prepositional phrase. Words working together as a team, okay? So if you look down a couple, you'll notice that, well, in down, down is a preposition. Christina, hi. Lots of people. Down is a preposition. Street is a noun, but in this phrase, there's also an adjective. Narrow street, right? Like not a wide street, but narrow, thin. Okay? So in a prepositional phrase, you can have adjectives. It's okay. Okay? As long as there is a preposition at the beginning and a noun in there, you can have more words in the prepositional phrase. Adjectives, right? So you've got adjectives here, narrow and favorite. Remus from Hong Kong. Cool. Welcome. Got narrow, favorite. These are adjectives. You've got articles. You've got numbers, quantifiers, right? Like some or many or two, three, right? You've got possessive adjectives. Lots of information. But as long as there's a preposition at the beginning and there's a noun, then it's a prepositional phrase. Okay? Okay, so again, if you guys have questions, keep them coming in the chat. All right, so prepositional phrases add detail. As you saw with my very first question, I was using all of that information to add detail to my question to make it more specific, okay? So prepositional phrases help you explain and they help you to describe things. So let's look at some examples. We can use prepositional phrases to show time, like this. Okay, he has lived in Vancouver for 10 years. I guess I should say I have lived in Vancouver for 10 years. Okay? All right, so in this case, you'll see for 10 years, yeah, is the prepositional phrase. Fatih's saying, is order important? Like time before place? Good question. That's a good question, Fatih. It really depends on what you're using the preposition for. Okay, so I mean, in this case, you'll also notice that I wasn't going to talk about this necessarily right away, but that's fine. I'll use in Vancouver. That is also a prepositional phrase, right? Now, in Vancouver, Fatih, this should be close to live, because in Vancouver is, we say, modifying the word lived, right? Live in Vancouver. For 10 years over here, this one, yeah, this is modifying lived in Vancouver. So yes, in this case, you want this phrase after this one because of the order of what you are describing or what information you are adding to it and what words you are modifying in the sentence. Okay, I hope that helps you out. Okay, so that's to show time. A couple more examples, and then I'm going to get you guys to do some work for me. Okay, so we use it to show location. For example, here, the house across the street is for sale. Across the street is a prepositional phrase. You're welcome, Fatty. Okay, and also, for sale is a prepositional phrase. A very important prepositional phrase to know. For sale and on sale, maybe even more important, maybe. Okay? We use it to show direction, like this. They walked down the street and around the corner, right? Both prepositional phrases. And I forgot about this picture. Daniel from Mars. Good prepositional phrase. Now how about this? We use prepositional phrases to show feeling, emotion. So you could say, the cat jumped back in surprise, right? In surprise. Again, this is a prepositional phrase. Actually, you could even do one of these, right? Cats love these things. You can go back and forth like that. They jump back in surprise. Okay, Remus has a question. If I want the 10 years to be at the beginning, how will it be? Oh, I see, Remus. So you're saying for 10 years I have lived in Vancouver? That's okay too. That's fine. Yeah, that works. Now, some prepositional phrases can move around, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. Galais is saying jumped back. Well, jump back would be a phrasal verb, right? So jump, you can jump back, you can jump forward, you can jump in any direction. So jump back typically means to go back like this, all right? I'm not going to jump back right now because I will fall out of my chair. I think cats are cute. I agree with that. Some people think cats are evil, but I think they're pretty cute. All right. And one more thing, we use prepositional phrases to show manner, meaning how someone did something. This guy's not quite as cute as the cat. We say the thief opened the door with a crowbar, right? So he used the crowbar, which is this thing here. He used that to open the door. So we're using, again, the preposition with and the noun to show how he did this, right? Okay, so these are different ways we use prepositional phrases. And it's important to remember that prepositional phrases he's stupid. I think, yeah. I think hopefully you're talking about the guy trying to open the door and not me. But prepositional phrases can be adjectives, right? So if you look at this sentence, the one that we showed you before, across the street is working like an adjective because it's describing the word house. Okay, so this phrase, this group of words, yeah, okay, this group of words is working together to describe the house. Okay? But prepositional phrases can also be adverbs, right? So if you look at this sentence, they walked down the street and around the corner. Down the street is modifying or describing the word walked. Okay, so now it's working like an adverb, meaning it's describing a verb and not a noun. So prepositional phrases are very useful. They can be adjectives, they can be adverbs. They're wonderful things. But the question is, why is this important? Why are we learning all of this stuff? Why do you need to know about prepositional phrases? And that's a good question. Okay? Oh yeah, and Khalid, I think, asked a question about the meaning of crowbar. Yeah, now crowbar, Khalid, if you go back and look at that picture and read the sentence, the thing that he has in his hand, that was a crowbar. Okay. So, Devendra maybe has a question. Surprise looks noun here. That's right, yeah. It's important to remember, Devendra, that sometimes words like surprise can be verbs and nouns. So I can surprise you, or I can say I like surprises, right? So surprises can be a noun as well. All right, so you guys are answering my question here. Why is this important? And Mustafa says to speak English. Good answer. Tiago says to build sentences properly. Yes, sure. Well, it's important for many reasons, all right? And we're going to talk about the many different ways that understanding these prepositional phrases can help you, okay? So, let me ask you another question. Or let me make you do something. I'm going to pop off the screen here for a minute. Here's my question. What is the subject of this sentence? I'm going to put a sentence on the screen, and I want you guys to look at it and find me the subject. Okay, here we go. Okay, find me the subject. Whoever can find me the subject first is the fastest person on the internet. All right, Rosa's going to the, oh, you got to go to the doctor. Yeah, hope you feel better, Rosa. Thanks for coming. Mustafa's saying, where can we use prepositional phrases? You use prepositional phrases in speaking and in writing. Yeah, you use them all the time, every day. Okay? So people are coming in fast with this answer for the the subject? Bell's got it. Kyle has it. Christina, Diego. Wow, you're all coming in. All right. Somebody said house, brothers, house, brothers. Wow, you guys are too smart for me. All right, maybe this one's the easy one. Okay, that's fine. So, and I see Belle knows where I'm going with this. She sees what I'm going to say here. So, sometimes when I ask this question, people say forest or house or something like that. But most of you guys got it right. The answer is brothers. Okay, brothers is the subject of this sentence. All right, now how do we know that brothers is the subject of this sentence? Because there's a lot of information here. How were these students in the chat able to so quickly find brothers as the subject? And you guys all get it. Good. Well, this is an important information for me to give you. Prepositional phrases, they help you read, okay? They help you find the subject in a sentence. And the important thing, and Belle just put it up there, she's one step ahead of me, which is good, is that a prepositional phrase can never be the subject of a sentence, okay? It can never, ever, ever, ever be the subject. So if you can find the prepositional phrases in a sentence, then you can have an easier time of finding the subject, okay? So let's look back at this sentence. If you know that prepositional phrases cannot be the subject, then you can take sentences apart. You can kind of break them down, right? And you can see, more importantly, where are the prepositional phrases, okay? For example, in the forest is a prepositional phrase, yeah? Behind their house is a prepositional phrase as well. With other kids is a prepositional phrase. So take that out of there. From the neighborhood is a prepositional phrase. And before dinner is a prepositional phrase. And you take all of that away, this is all detail, right? It's all detail. And what you're left with, what you have in the end, once you take all of that detail out, you have the subject, the verb, and the object, right? Sometimes you won't even have the object. You'll just have a subject and a verb, okay? So that's why so many people, so many smart students out there got brothers so quickly, because they can see all of those prepositional phrases. Good work. Okay, so that was an easy one for you guys, maybe. I underestimated you. All right? But remember to keep in mind, sometimes students, when they're reading, they look at a sentence word by word. And they look at sentences as just individual one word and then one word and then one word. But you have to remember that in a language, words are always working together in little groups, little phrases, little teams, right? All of these little bits of the sentence are connected and can't just be separated in meaning. Okay? So how about this? One more. Let's see if I can test you here. All right? What is the subject of this sentence? Yeah, what's the subject of this sentence? Yeah, who can tell it? Who can find it for me? I'm not even going to disappear and play the music yet. You guys were so fast last time. Where is the subject of this sentence? Christina says cat. Maybe that's of a different conversation, I hope, because there's no cat in this sentence. Village, church, village. All right, you guys are too good. Wow, good stuff. Okay, so I tricked a couple people because that's what I like to do. I like to try to trick some students every once in a while. Okay, and some of you said village. Nobody said hill, I don't think. But a lot of people, oh, Belle just said she's guessing maybe. The subject of this sentence is church. Now, sometimes, oh, and Mukhar is saying no subject. Devendra's saying behind. No, the subject is church. Because remember, a subject always has to be a noun, right, or a pronoun. And a prepositional phrase can never be the subject. Okay, so it definitely has a subject. Because if it has no subject, it's not a sentence. Remember, it's just a phrase. Yeah, so I'm not trying to trick you that much. So in this case, church is the subject. People are saying, really? Yes, really. Yeah. And sometimes this is very surprising, like that cat who jumped back in surprise. Because the subject is at the end of this sentence, right? Which is, it's not normal for you to see the subject at the end, right? But this is what we call inversion. And I'll talk about that again. But remember that if you can find the prepositional phrases, right, at the top of the hill above the village, you know that none of these can possibly be the noun. So you're just taking away the possibilities. Yeah, and as some of you are saying there, only church. Oh, you're saying only church or old church? Well, I would say church is the subject, beautiful and old. These are modifiers. So if you say, that's kind of like your complete subject, but the true subject is church, is the noun. Okay? Yeah, but typically you don't need to include articles and adjectives and that kind of thing for the subject. That's the subject there. Everything else, these are modifiers and determiners and all sorts of other stuff. Okay? But back to this, if you can find the prepositional phrases, you can find the subject. Okay? And those are adjectives modify the subject? That's right, Belle. That's right. These modify the subject. Old church and beautiful church. Now, what we're saying here is this is inversion. Sometimes when you are reading something like a story or an article, English writers might get fancy with their language, right? They might try to do something different, and they might flip the word order of a sentence to make it sound nicer, to make it sound more interesting or more kind of descriptive or dramatic. Okay, so inversion means a word order when the subject comes after the verb, right? We flip the subject and the verb. That's all it is, okay? But again, if you know about prepositional phrases, it won't confuse you. You can still find the subject even when the order of the sentence is all mixed up, right? Because really what this sentence means, if you can flip it the other way, and you can say, a beautiful old church was at the top of the hill above the village, period, right? And it's the exact same meaning. The first one is just a little bit more stylish, I would say. Not as common in normal use of the language. Yeah, Khalid's asking for some exercises to understand the subject. Absolutely. Okay. Here comes the rain again. Steve Lynn, here comes the rain again. Yes, that is inversion. Yeah, exactly. Good. Okay. So, yes, you're asking for exercises for practice. Well, you ask, and I am here to give you what you need. All right. So, again, all I'm saying here is, if you know the prepositional phrases, you can find the subject. So, how about this? You guys want some practice? Okay. I will happily give you some practice. Now, I am going to make a copy of this. And I'm going to put it in the chat. So I am putting a link to the exercise, okay? Go in there and open that up. Or you can just look on the screen here. Okay? I'm going to leave this on the screen. I'm going to pop out in a minute. But I think this is good for you guys to practice this. All right, some people are popping on. You can open it up, make a copy of that. Prem is asking, would you say the inversion sentence is more commonly used in speaking or writing? I think it's definitely more common in writing. Not very common to use it in conversational English, Prem. That's a good question. And in writing, it's really more often in more formal or academic or creative writing, I would say. In emails or that kind of thing, we don't usually use it as much. Okay, so good question. Pop onto this document, make a copy, okay, or you can just look on the screen, that's fine, because really what I want you to try to do is look at each sentence and find me the subject. So find all the prepositional phrases. For example, in the first one, you can say around the corner. I'm going to say that's a prepositional phrase, okay? And from my school, that's a prepositional phrase. So what is the subject? I mean, restaurant. There's your subject right there. Let's highlight that. Restaurant is the subject, and the verb is. So a great sushi restaurant is around the corner from my school, okay? So take a couple minutes. I'm going to leave the screen. I'm going to turn on the music, okay? And you can answer, you can make a copy of this document, or you can just look at the screen and you can put the answers in the chat, okay? So put some answers in the chat, and then we'll go over it together, okay? All right, get to work, guys. If you're stuck, if you have questions, put them in the chat, all right? I'm going to pop out. Find me the subjects. All right, come soon, bro. Mustafa. If that was for me, well, here I am. I'm not sure. All right, so I'm back. Let's go over some of these answers. This is good stuff. Lots of good answers coming in. You guys are doing really well. One of them tricked a few people, and that's okay. That's kind of what as I said, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to trick you a little bit. Okay, can't make it too easy, but this is good. Okay, so letter B. You guys have lots of stuff coming in here. I think Pescoa just crushed it really quickly and said in B, yeah, I. So I am the subject of B there. That's the subject. Because again, if you look through here, you've got all of these prepositional phrases. You've got, whoops, I don't like that. Let me change the text color a little bit. So on weekends, again, is a prepositional phrase, right? On my own, for walks, in the woods, near my house. All of these are prepositional phrases, okay? Now again, a good lesson about what I was talking about when you're looking at a sentence to make sure that you're looking at words working together is sometimes this kind of thing here confuses students because they see off and then they see on, off, on together. So sometimes a student will say, yeah, Shaun, what's going on here? How can you say off and on together? But again, it's important to break the sentence down so that you see go off is a phrasal verb, all right? So go and off are together, which means kind of just to go away, to walk away, to go off, okay? And over here, on my own, meaning alone, is a separate phrase, right? So go off, on my own are separate, which is why you really have to be careful when you're reading through the sentence, not to be confused by these two, what look like two prepositions together, all right? This is good. So some people are loving the music now. Yeah, it grows on people, for sure. All right. What about C? C. Swayed. In the entrance of the bar, main verb, stood, man is the subject. Oh yeah, so I should also say for B that the main verb is go off together, phrasal verb, okay? Good, so yeah, Belle's got it. A couple people have it there, yeah. So man, that's your subject, okay? Now again, this is that inverted word order to be fancy, right? But here you've got in the entrance of the bar. Those are two phrases. Take those out of there. And then in black is also a prepositional phrase. And then stood, that's your verb, right? Good. All right, yeah, Prem got it too. Good. Ahmed got it. Good. You guys are doing really well. There's one that I think I'm going to trick some of you guys with. Okay, so D, Jonathan, that's your subject. You guys got that. Good. So highlight that. And left, now this one may have tricked you. Did everyone get the verb for this? Because there's actually two verbs here, right? Those are both the main verbs. And here, you've got the prepositional phrase with his friends on the counter. You make those blue, paint those blue, and there you go. There's your sentence. Jonathan left and forgot. Yeah? Belle got it? Good. All right, so Steve is asking a question. Steve Lynn, do you think for sure and for free, which are prepositions with an adjective, are prepositions? I see what you mean. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I guess in that case, they certainly do function as prepositions there, Steve. Yeah, that's a good little exception. Good question. And Mustafa's saying, why is not left is a prepositional phrase. Oh, okay. Now, because in this case, left, Mustafa, good question, is the past tense of the verb leave, right? To leave is the preposition, okay? Sorry, the verb, okay? So to leave is a verb, not a preposition. That's why it's not a prepositional phrase. Okay, and oh, look, Ahmed got it already. Okay, good. All right, 2 more. Lots of phrases here. Through the fence. You guys are doing really well. Down the path. All right. Next to a duck pond. That's a phrase. And that means tree is your subject and sat is your verb. All right? Good. Okay. So now this last one, F. This is the one that I tried to trick you guys with a little bit, okay? Because some of you said that you thought that was the subject, photos. But I think even one person noticed that photos is plural, right? You've got an S there, but the verb is singular, right? So that's obviously, if you look at that and say photos is, you know that can't work unless I've made a mistake, which sometimes I do, but in this case, I did not make the mistake. And I see Belle and Prem and Kaio, yeah, you guys are, you know where I'm going. So in this case, again, remember, a prepositional phrase cannot be the subject of a sentence. And if you look here, of my favorite photos, that is a prepositional phrase. So the subject of this sentence is over here, is actually one, okay? Now that might seem strange, but one is a pronoun, and it's not one of, it's just one, right? Because I could take this out here and just say one is of my brother and sister, and that's a complete sentence. That's okay. But if I put that in there, that's just more detail. That's a prepositional phrase, okay? So one of the important things to remember about understanding prepositional phrases is it will help you avoid these mistakes, because some students would see photos in their sentence and they would write photos are of my brother, but that's a mistake. That's a mistake with subject and verb agreement. So you have to make sure that you know what the subject is so that you don't make that mistake, which is very common, okay? So that's why is, your verb is singular, because one is your subject. Mustafa, he says, yeah, that's a tricky one. Yes, that is a tricky one. I like to trick you guys. But over here, of my brother and sister, that's a phrase there as well. And sitting in a tree is a phrase as well. Okay, so that's the magic of prepositional phrases, how you can help yourself really break down a sentence and understand it, okay? Help you find the subject, help you avoid making certain mistakes, all right? Alejandro, you like the tricky one? Yeah. Yeah, it makes me happy too. Okay. So another important thing about prepositional phrases is they help you with your writing, obviously, to make it more interesting, to make it more clear to the person reading your sentence, because you're adding information, right? So you think I'm kidding? No, I'm not kidding. That's I don't think I'm kidding. All right, so let me go over here. Let me show you this. Okay, the snow fell. Now this is important to know. Prepositional phrases, because again, as I said, you can add information. So the snow fell. That's a very short, very simple sentence. It's correct, The grammar is okay. It's got a subject here, and it's got a verb. Okay, so it's complete. But it's not super interesting. Okay, so you can add more information with prepositional phrases. Yeah? You can say something like, let me get that out of there, about in winter. There's a prepositional phrase. The snow fell on the mountains behind my house. Okay? So you're using, Kaio's asking for the mistake of the week. Mistake of the week will be in the later class today. Okay? Yeah. So you'll have to come back for the mistake of the week, Kaio. Yeah. In winter, the snow fell on the mountains behind my house. Right? So just like I did with the sentences, or the question rather, at the beginning of class, when I asked you about chicken, I can add prepositional phrases to make my sentence more specific and more interesting. And that is what I would like you to do for me right now before you guys go. We still have some time. So, again, look at this document that I've shared with you guys, okay? Is this, oh, that's the student copy there, is it? Okay, that's fine. Now, what you can do is go down to the second part. I have just given you 5 very simple sentences, not super interesting, okay? Steve, you like prepositional phrases? Me too, yeah? I want you to add information to my sentences. Make them more interesting. So the first one is, the school closed. So I want you to try to add at least 2 prepositional phrases to this sentence with your own ideas to make it more interesting. Don't worry about adjectives or verbs, just prepositional phrases. Okay? So, should we do one together? Yeah, let's do one together. So again, I would say something like, I'll keep mine simple. In summer, school was closed for 3 months, right? In summer is a prepositional phrase talking about time. For 3 months is also talking about time, right? You could change it for other things and say for construction, right? Or for repairs, to fix it, okay? So again, in this case, this for construction is telling you why it was closed. All right, so take a couple minutes, write me some beautiful sentences, put them in the chat, and then I'll put some of your sentences up here on the screen, and then we'll go over them together, okay? All right, I'm gonna put the music that you guys love so much back, and write me some beautiful sentences with prepositional phrases. Okay, go for it. All right, guys, this is good. Lots of good stuff coming in here. So many good examples, but I thought we would cut it short because we are running out of time a little bit. So the snake crawled. Actually, let me go over here. I'm gonna go to my copy, so I'm not writing on yours. Okay. So we said the snake crawled. Steve Lynn says the snake crawled in hunger. In hunger, crawled to the tree and saw a monkey in deep sleep and ate it. Yeah, you guys are getting very descriptive. This is good. Okay. Let me see another one with snakes. Donnie says the snake crawled in your house when you were sleeping. Make sure, Donnie, it's were sleeping, not was sleeping. But that's good. Okay. You guys are adding, you're adding verbs and all this, lots of wonderful stuff. You guys are going beyond what I asked for, which is great. Let's keep it simple for now and say something like the snake crawled into my bed and up my leg. Okay, the snake crawled into my bed and up my leg. This is good. You guys are doing really well here. Let's go through this a little bit quickly here. We are going. Let me see one for this one. Okay, so how about this? So Ahmed said, we are going on holiday for 2 weeks by the beach in Egypt and to meet our friends there. This is good. I mean, he's just keeping on going, and that's great. So we're going on holiday for 2 weeks by the beach in Egypt. Excellent. That's really good, Ahmed. Nice work. Okay. Rima says, we're going to the kitchen for dinner. Okay, that's great. Good. Belle says, yesterday the snake crawled into my house and I ate it. That's funny. Yeah. Well, right, because some people say that snake tastes like chicken. I don't know if that's true. I have never eaten snake. I've never eaten snake on a beach in Mexico with a movie star from India. All right. Have you ever traveled? Is the question. Okay, Anwar says, have you ever traveled to the UK? Right, that's fine. Have you ever traveled to the UK? Good. You could even add more. You could say, have you ever traveled to the UK in summer? Right? Or something like that. That's great. All right, Quack Duck is saying, hi, everyone. Hi, Quack Duck. You're just showing up at the end of class. That's okay. It's good to see you anyway. And the last one, Chris grew up. Who's got one for Chris grew up? All right. One more. Where is it? Yeah. Okay, Andre Ramirez Chica. This is a good one. So Chris grew up with his grandparents in Montreal. That's good. Christina's is good too. Yeah. Chris grew up under the influence of a misogynist culture. Poor Chris. I agree. Poor Chris. Poor everyone, I think, in that case. Absolutely. So that's it, guys. That's really good stuff. But unfortunately, it's that sad time again to say goodbye. Here, let me pop out here. Okay. Yeah, so the hour is up. It's time for me to say goodbye. It's time for me to go and sit in a chair and make sure my hair looks nice for the next class in several hours, right? I know that you guys missed Mark, but thank you for letting me jump in and teach you guys. I always enjoy coming in and teaching these classes. Okay, so yeah, it was fast. I know, time flies when you're discussing prepositional phrases. Right. Well, thank you guys. This is all nice stuff that you're putting here in the chat. And of course, keep watching. You can come back. I'm back here at 3 o'clock Vancouver time, which is in about five hours from now. I know it's late for some of you, but some of you I think I'll see in about 5 hours in my class, and others we'll see next week. Okay, and in the meantime, which is a prepositional phrase, you can keep touch through the Facebook group. All right, you can keep watching this. All of these classes, of course, become videos on YouTube that you can watch again and again and again. And yeah, on Facebook you can send us your questions, and we'll see you next time. Okay? Thanks for watching, and I'm out of here. But some of you I'll see 5 hours from now, and some of you I'll see next week. All right? Thanks, guys.